Hey guys, recently I hurt my back and it sucked really bad. And I was very upset about it for a while, and I was grumpy and sad. And so much of like what we do is tied into movement, especially here at Lions Den. And when you can't move, it's pretty upsetting. I hurt my back in the past before, so I have some like past trauma with it. And I'm just gonna tell you guys some of the things that I think I did correctly to help myself, and some of the things I think I did incorrectly that probably extended my injury longer than it needed to be, okay? So one of the things I would say I did correctly is I spent some time trying to get the inflammation down. For me personally, on the day that I hurt my back, I took a little Advil the night before going to sleep. I did some gentle cat-cow to kind of make sure that my back stayed moving a little bit because I didn't want it to be too stiff and rigid. And I tried to walk a decent amount. Walking seemed to help me a lot. Some of the things that I did incorrectly were rushing into working out again. So the next day, my back felt pretty decent, and I was like, all right, I think I'm ready to go. Picked up a weight, spasmed. And I probably went through that cycle about 3 times of waking up, my back feeling pretty decent, picking up a weight, and then it spasming again. And that extended for about 2.5 weeks. And if I would have just taken a little bit more time to relax and a little bit more time to just go through actual rehabilitation exercises versus picking up heavy weight, I probably would have been a lot better off. So for those of you out there that might have tweaked your back or feel something, do as I say, not as I did, because I'm gonna try to do the same thing if it happens again. So a couple of examples that we did to kind of actually make my back feel better. Like I said before, some cat-cow, some breath work in various positions, and then a lot of ab training to kind of help bring my back into a little bit of flexion and a little bit of extension when I needed it. We'll go over that right now. All right, guys, for me, the cat-cow is not going to look the prettiest. I do have a stiff lumbar spine, but I do my best with this, and I've been getting better. A couple things I like to focus on while doing cat-cow is making sure my breath is on point, my shoulder blades and head are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and my abs are actually active when they need to be, and then my back is active when it needs to be. So my first step here, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go into a little bit of extension. I'm gonna take an inhale, and I'm gonna try to squeeze the muscles in my back and my shoulder blades down. So shoulder blades go down, and these muscles in my back are squeezing tight as I inhale, kind of letting my belly drop through. And then when I go to exhale, here, I'm separating my shoulder blades. I am trying to drive my spine to the ceiling, squeeze my butt a little bit, and squeeze my abs. And then I'll pause for a second. Once I think the squeeze is all done, I'll inhale, go back into extension, head up, shoulders down, spine squeezed, and then again, head down, shoulders separated, spine to the ceiling, butt squeezed, exhale. I would do about maybe 5 to 10 in each direction, 5 to 10 extensions and flexions. You could go through it about 2 or 3 times or as much needed. This is kind of a great way to just kind of keep things moving. And if your back is hurting, don't go toward the pain when you do it. I'd rather you just go toward ranges that are acceptable and available to you at the time. So you don't want to push this past any point of, or to the point of discomfort. This is one of the easiest positions to get your breath work done in. You could just take a lot of kind of load or stress off your lower body here. Getting your legs elevated, getting your back flat to the ground. I like to tuck my chin a little bit to kind of keep my spine in, or I guess like force my spine into a little bit straighter of a position. I'm gonna put my hands kind of on my lower ribs here, and then I'm just gonna inhale through my nose, basically till I can't inhale anymore. I'm gonna hold it here, and then I'm gonna exhale out my mouth, kind of like I'm fogging up glass, until I get my entire exhale out. Now on your inhales, you're trying to create expansion through the bottom of your rib cage, stomach area, basically where your diaphragm sits as you inhale. Getting a good expansion all the way around 360 degrees. And then again, fog up glass when you exhale. You can feel a lot of that engagement in the musculature around your rib cage. You can feel your ribs kind of collapsing down. That's how you know you're doing it correctly. For this, I like to set a timer and do at least a minute of breathing in this position. So now as your back starts to loosen up a little bit, maybe feels better, you could try different positions to put yourself in to breathe. I wouldn't suggest this position for, like, say the day you had a back spasm, because it might be difficult to get your lower back really pressed against the wall and your knees kind of tight in like this. But when your back does start to loosen up, this is definitely a good position for you to actually practice some breath work in. Just like when you had your legs elevated on the bench, it's gonna be very similar. I'm gonna get into this position, get my ASIS touching the wall. So basically like the back of like my pelvic bones here. Lower back pressing the wall, butt on the ground. I'm kind of in like a flexed position here. And I'm just gonna focus on the same thing. So I'm gonna take a long inhale through my nose till I can't inhale anymore. I'm gonna pause for a few seconds and hold it. And then I'm gonna exhale slow till it's all out, like I'm fogging up glass, and it's just gonna look like this. Again, trying to get all of that air out. And again, just like on the bench over there, set a timer for at least a minute and just work on breathing like that. It's just gonna help down-regulate your nervous system and just kind of make your back feel like it's in a, maybe what you could call a safe position. Soft tissue work. I don't know how many times I've aggravated something in my back and I grabbed a ball and I laid down on the ball or went up against the wall and I just rolled out my erectors and all these muscles, my QL, trying to find these areas, and nothing hurts. And I don't know why my back hurts, but none of these muscles in my back hurt. One of the things you could do is attack the front. So what I like to do is take this ball, go just above my pubic symphysis, and I'm just gonna lay on it and kind of roll sideways and roll up and down and dig in and find some spots. You might find them a little higher, that's okay, but we're basically gonna look for spots. Sometimes some of that tension we hold in the front of our body can affect how our back feels. So just put the ball down, get into a little bit of an extended position. So I'm kind of stretching my abs out just a little. You don't wanna be like, especially if your back hurts, you don't wanna be too extended. You wanna find a position that's relatively comfortable for you. And you're just gonna wiggle around and find some of these sore spots. Kind of hurts, kind of feels good at the same time. Make sure you're breathing through it. I would say spend about a minute on each side of your stomach and see if that loosens up your back a little bit. Guys, this next thing is the tried and true McGill Big 3. This is a great way to provide some stability, the core, like from the core musculature around your spine. It tends to make you feel better after the first time doing it. So basically what I'm gonna do is a little bit of a curl up here. So I'm gonna put my hands kind of on my lower back, get my chin tucked, right? Mouth closed, one leg extended, and then I'm just going to hover my head barely off the ground with my chin tucked. This is a hard position to kind of hold. You're gonna feel your neck working a little bit as well, but you should also feel your core working. And what I'm gonna do here is just a 10-second hold. And once I'm done with those 10 seconds, I'm gonna gently lay my head back down, and then I'm gonna switch legs. Tuck the chin, lift up, 10-second hold, keeping the core braced while I'm breathing. and then let it down. We'll do 3 sets of that each side, so it's gonna be 30 seconds a side, and it's gonna be about a minute of isometric hold. The next thing we'll move on to is a side plank. Now, depending on the severity of your back pain, you might have to play around with your side plank a little bit and regress it or progress it. So if your back hurts pretty bad, maybe side plank on the knees is what works for you. If you feel like that's not giving you enough of a stimulus, bring those legs out, just do a regular old side plank. Again, this is gonna be a 10-second hold. Once you're done with your 10 seconds, we're gonna switch sides and hit a 10-second hold on the other side. We'll do that 3 times, accumulate 30 seconds onto each side, and again, it's a minute total of isometric. The last one you're gonna do is a bird dog. And with the bird dog, we're gonna get into a position like we're gonna do a cat-cow. Back stays straight, abs are engaged here, my head tucked back, I don't want my head sagging down, right? And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to extend both my limbs straight out, opposite hand, opposite foot, kind of pushing through my heel. I'm not trying to raise my legs and arms too much and create a bunch of extension in my back. I'm trying to put it about here, right? Spine stays relatively neutral, glute is active, shoulder is active, and my paraspinals are definitely active here. Again, I'm gonna hold for 10 seconds, switch sides, hold for 10 seconds. And then after I've done that 3 times each side, I've accumulated another minute of isometric work. And then after that, you wanna stand up, move around gently, you know, give yourself like a little bit of a rotation, gentle reach for the toes, gentle extension, just to check on how you feel and if that actually affected you positively.